Diversifying income and building wealth stability. Hello, everyone. I'm Bobtheorc, and welcome to Don't Be Someone Else's Bitch. Tonight, we're going to talk about diversifying income and wealth. So let's build a campfire, and let's sit down and talk about this. So, having multiple income streams is really useful to building wealth and achieving success. And if you look at most of the successful people out there, they all have multiple income streams. Some of them will have a regular job and then a bunch of investment type projects, or some of them are successful enough that they're only having to live off of investment projects. But if you look at somebody, the richest man in the world right now is Elon Musk. He's got a number of different businesses. He's got income sources coming in from all directions, and that provides a stability that he can take risks on new projects, whether it's his satellites or his Neuralink or his spaceships or his cars, his boring company, his flamethrowers, all the stuff that he does, right? And as you build up these multiple income sources, they all start supporting each other. Now, odds are we're not going to all be as rich as Elon Musk. But let's talk about this on a smaller scale. And I'm going to use my life as an example. So, in my life, I have my computer company, which, for a long time was my main source of income through college and out of college. And then and that provided me a certain amount of stability, but it'd take up a lot of my time. And as I had the means to, I would start working on other consulting projects, engineering projects. I started up doing a little bit of software stuff. I did some defense technology stuff, and a whole number of different projects. And as the economy would change, as life would shift on me, I found that I was very insulated from surprises. There were times that the market would tank and my computer store was just doing miserable. This happened a few years ago, and I had to subsidize my business from my other sources of income. And I had various online things that I was doing. I had a consulting project in New York that paid the bills for a little while. And then when the virus happened and my consulting work in New York died, my computer business was able to help me out, and a little bit of some of the software and some of the other things. They all just kind of held it together, and this gave me a great survivability that I would not have been able to have otherwise, because most of what knocks us down in life are these surprises that we're not prepared for. And if you can insulate yourself from these surprises to where you don't just get knocked back all the time, then that helps you move forward at a faster pace, or at least allows you to move forward with a little bit more confidence. And so, as you're building, just as it's important to have multiple income streams, you want to also, achieve stability as you build resources by diversifying them a little bit, and you want your wealth to be stable, right? So, I invest in a number of different projects. Typically I don't play the stock market because I don't really have that kind of focus, right? I try to go for more long-term things. But, for example, when I saw a lot of the recent virus stuff coming about a year ago, I knew that there were going to be supply shortages, so I spent money buying up, necessary computer supplies, laptops, things like that I knew people would need. And then as my, as an investment strategy, right? And so being able to predict the market and being able to, having the means to diversify what you're doing, and I dumped all of my spare resources into it. And the reason I was able to do that was because I knew I had regular money coming in from some software clients. I had the computer store money coming in, which I was really uncertain about because I didn't know how the virus would affect things. I had money coming in from some of the defense stuff and some of the consulting stuff and some of the other things that I did. And so by having this stability from the multiple income sources, it allowed me to take a risk that I otherwise would not have been able to take. And the risk happened to pay off well, but there's been other times that I've taken risks. I took a risk on a big server project a couple of years ago, and it just fell flat. I was building an expensive prototype for a project up in New Hampshire, and it didn't work out, and I was out a lot of money. But because I had that stability from the multiple income streams, and I didn't depend on that one thing, I was able to ride it out, and I was able to repurpose, what I was doing, and filter some of those supplies through my computer store, and it gave me options, right? And a lot of success in life is having the options, so that when something bad happens, you're able to roll with it and take a different direction. So one of the things, oh, my campfire went out. Let's go make another campfire. I need to find a campfire that lasts longer than 5 minutes. But I like the blue campfire, and it's easy. So speaking of easy, one of my tricks is to explore easy opportunities. And a lot of times, if you've established a little bit of reserves, if you've established a little bit of free time, and you have certain confidence and stability because you've got a couple of different income sources, you're not dependent on that one job where you have to impress your boss or you're worried about getting fired, you're going to see that there are easy opportunities that come along every now and then. For example, when I had the opportunity to buy a bunch of laptops at a discount, I jumped on it because it was an easy choice, right? I had a little bit of money stashed aside. I had some credit that I had built up, and so I was able to take that chance. There have been other times where, recently we involved ourselves in a programming project, and I was able to reallocate one of the guys at work to pursuing this programming project, and maybe it'll work and maybe it won't. I think it's going to work, but it's an easy opportunity that we can just grab onto and go for. And so a lot of it is setting up your life in such a way that you've got the time and you've got the mental space to focus on looking for these opportunities, because there's always something out there. Even when the economy stinks, there's always going to be something that people need. And for example, when the economy is good, I tend to do more work with my consulting and some of my business type stuff, some of my engineering type stuff. And when the economy's bad, then my computer store tends to do better because people are interested in fixing the systems that they already have, because it's more cost effective. And so you can structure your life where you've got different projects that will work depending on how the market's doing. So another thing to understand is scale and the law of diminishing returns. So some projects are designed to scale up and others are not. So for example, with my computer business, it's never going to exceed a certain size unless I want to start opening up a whole bunch of multiple locations and try and become a Best Buy, and I'm just not into doing that kind of, putting forth that kind of effort into it. And so as a small town computer business, there's a maximum size it's going to achieve, and if I try to scale it past its natural size, then I'll be expending a lot more effort compared to the results that I can expect. A lot of time in gaming, you'll see that you have diminishing returns as you start building up one stat. If you build up the stat too much, you start having a reduction in the benefit each time, and so it's better to diversify your stats. Now, sometimes in games it's better to hyper specialize, so I don't want you to take that as a rule. But in life, understanding the thing that you're doing, and understanding what the scale potential is, lets you know when you're going to run into these diminishing returns. So for example, two guys in a truck. It's my favorite small business model. You got two guys in a truck, they're driving around town doing odd jobs for people. It's easy money on a small scale because you've got two guys in a truck, they're friends, and they just do their thing. Oh, you need some stuff hauled off, you need your attic cleaned out, you need your lawn mowed, no problem. And I know a couple of guys who made good money through college doing two guys in a truck kind of work. But that's never going to expand beyond two guys in a truck. Once you start getting multiple trucks, unless you scale up really big, now you're going to start having efficiency problems. You're going to have to find ways, how do we collect the money? Because you can't just pick up some cash, because you don't necessarily want random people handing your random employees just taking cash, because maybe you don't trust them, maybe you do. Do you start taking credit cards? How do you assign all the workflow? It's gonna be less efficient. So there's a certain natural scale to two guys in a truck. It's not that you shouldn't do it, you should just understand what that scale is. There's other things that only work on a big scale. Elon Musk doing his satellite system for satellite internet, that only works on a global scale. If you don't have the resources to do that, then you're not going to do it, as you're not going to pull it off. So my focus has always been easy opportunities that I can do on a small scale that'll generate a little bit of income. Even if it's just an extra $500 a month, that's $500 a month free and clear in my pocket that I don't have to worry about. And it happens, pretty regularly. Let's make another fire here. This is taking a while. So it's good to explore these opportunities and understand, how much effort each opportunity is going to take. Now, the big kicker is you need to be very efficient with your time and with your resources, because everything's finite. You only have a limit to what you can do, and you don't want to overreach. So when I was fresh out of college, my computer business was doing well, and I thought that I would open up a second location in Tulsa. And I was, I've got my primary business in Norman. I opened up another location in Tulsa, and I thought it'd be a good idea because I had my grandmother's house there that I could operate out of, and I could, so my cost would be very low. And that was great from starting up the Tulsa thing, and the Tulsa thing started picking up a little bit, not as much as the business in Norman, but because I took my attention off of Norman and I hadn't fully solidified what I was doing in Norman yet, my Norman business started tanking while I was building up the Tulsa business. I overreached. I acted too soon. I ran into another problem when I first got started. We had a great first year, and I forgot to silence my phone. That was really stupid of me. And my alarm just went off. So my at one point when I was in college, I had all these buddies helping me out. I had a bunch of people who would owe me favors, and we expanded from practically nothing to, I think I made like $500,000 that year. I mean, it was huge for a college kid. And I got so big that the management burden, and I just didn't know what I was doing enough at the time, that it just imploded on me, and I ended up losing my ass. And which, if you can imagine that, going from making $500,000 to declaring bankruptcy, I grew too fast. I overreached, and so you have to understand there's a certain natural pace that you do things. Just like anything else in life, you don't want to go too fast. You don't want to go too slow. You don't want to take on something too big, but you don't want to waste your time on something too small. You have to find that right balance. And so you have to focus on being efficient, and you want to dream big, but don't overreach by jumping too fast. I fully believe in reaching for the stars, but you want to reach for the stars in a very efficient, measured pace so that you don't get yourself in trouble, because you only have so much time and you only have so many resources. And as you're building these multiple income streams, it either has to be something easy that you can do yourself, or it has to be something simple enough that you can train somebody else to run who's trustworthy. And I should probably do a whole mini-series on how to start your own business and be successful, because I've started a whole bunch of businesses, and I've been successful a few times, and I failed a few times, and I understand where I went wrong. So I think I'll do that. Later. One thing to talk about for efficiency is, a lot of times during the week, I will, with this YouTube channel, a lot of times during the week, I will take notes and collect my ideas That way when the weekend comes, or when I know I have a free day or free evening, I can just knock out a bunch of these videos because I have all my notes and all the graphics and everything just ready to go, and that makes it really easy. Um, and so as you're working on your various projects, make sure that you focus on being efficient because you only have so much to go around. So I hope this helps. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and feel free to comment if you want to add to the conversation. I'm pretty good about replying to the comments, at least right now that things are still growing. And don't be assholes to each other. Let's all help each other out. Be good and proper about how you do things, and reach for the stars. You'll do it. You'll get there. Have a good evening.